Reverse stabilization, sometimes called reverse motion tracking, is a compositing method using stabilization to first lock the shot off, add compositing elements or rotopaint to the stable scene as if it were a still image, and then reanimate the shot with the original camera motion to make otherwise difficult compositing tasks easier. You can use the Mocha Pro plugin or standalone with the new CC PowerPin export to get rock-solid tracks into your reverse stabilization workflow inside of After Effects. Mocha AE does not export directly to PowerPin, so to use PowerPin with Mocha AE, you need to copy the corner pin data to the AE CC PowerPin effect or use expressions to get corner pin data into a PowerPin effect. Special thanks to Roe from AE Blues for their wonderful tutorial on this technique. You can find AE Blues on YouTube and Vimeo. Nuke and Fusion users can use a similar technique with corner pin exports, but today we will focus on the Mocha Pro and AECC PowerPin workflow. I highly recommend Mocha Import Plus as a tool for this task, but some users may want to know the step-by-step PowerPin technique for when scripts like this are unavailable. Please note, third-party scripts like Mocha Import Plus create stabilized precomps automatically with Mocha corner pins. However, the technique covered in this tutorial uses Mocha Pro and AE with PowerPins only. The first step is to track your shot in Mocha Pro. If you're stabilizing an entire shot, you want to use translation, scale, and rotation only. If you're stabilizing an area to paint a specific plane, you will get better results by using shear and perspective as well when you track that particular plane. To track this shot, I will select my X-Spline tools, draw a shape around the area I want to track, and track forward using the appropriate tracking settings. Please see more in-depth tracking tutorials to dive into planar tracking in a more robust way. Next, I choose my frame that I want as my stable frame. That is to say, the frame I want my tracking data stabilized around, and I click the Align Surface button. This will push my corner pin to the edges of that frame, which is important if I want to maintain my shot dimensions while I stabilize. Power pins stabilize whether you align the surface or not, but applying camera motion works better if you use the aligned surface in Mocha Pro. Think of it as your anchor frame. From here, I will save and close Mocha. Inside of After Effects, I will select my Effect Controls tab and go into the Mocha plugin interface. I select the Invert checkbox to make sure I am inverting my Mocha tracking data. This inversion is a vital step because it is essentially reversing the camera motion that I tracked within Mocha based around the frame I used Align Surface on. Without this step, my stabilization will not work. Next, I click the Create Tracking Data button and select my track layer. I choose my CC PowerPin Export option and select the layer in my comp that I want to apply it to. In this case, it's my original layer that I've tracked Mocha on. Please note, you can also simply copy and paste the AECC PowerPin data into AE from Mocha Pro as well, but I'd like to show you how to create tracking data directly from the plugin interface right now. Now, my shot should be stabilized, and I can paint or composite as I so choose, just like I would in a still Photoshop file or a locked-off shot. Please note, the stabilization will be most accurate at the location the track was created from. So, try to track where you want your elements to be composited, or at least try to find coplanar data for the locations you need to track. In this case, I am going to drop a new element here to replace my original element, and I will pre-compose that element when I am finished, making sure to move all attributes into the new composition so that no effects conflict with one another. Think of pre-composing as enveloping your element. Now I can apply my Mocha tracking data right back to my scene by deselecting the Invert option, selecting Create Tracking Data, choosing my tracking layer, and applying the tracking data right back to my pre-comp. Or I can simply select my CC PowerPin from inside my pre-comp, copy it, paste it on the outside of my pre-comp, and then click Unstretch. If I want to tweak anything, I can simply tweak it in my stabilized pre-comp and it will populate right back to my main comp. For beauty work, as previously mentioned, I make sure my track is completed using translation, scale, rotation, shear, and perspective in most cases where perspective motion is present. Then, I align my surface tool to the edges of my shot, again using the Align Surface tool on the frame that is most parallel to camera so that I have the best angle to paint on. Next, I simply go to my Tracking tab and select the Export Tracking Data option. Select the Invert Tracking Data option and choose my AE/CC PowerPin option from the drop-down menu. I select the Copy option, and this will allow me to copy and paste the data directly into AE from Mocha Pro. I'll then save and close Mocha. Inside of AE, I paste the data onto my layer, pre-comp it by selecting Layer Precompose, and then create any paintwork that I'd like to use on this layer as if I were painting on a Photoshop file. When I am done, I can go to Mocha Pro again, select my tracking layer, and export a non-inverted CC PowerPin to rewarp my shot and beautywork back into place. Or I can simply select my CC PowerPin from inside my pre-comp, copy it, paste it on the outside of my pre-comp, and then click on Stretch. These techniques are invaluable for beautywork using the Clone tool, using Boris FX's Continuum Spline Warper or native AE warping tools, using particles from Continuum's Particle Illusion, animating screen inserts when you have to make hand-animated responsive screens, adding matte paintings to a scene, and a host of other practical applications. And because CC PowerPin supports motion blur, when you check the Add Motion Blur option on your AE layer, motion blur is automatically applied to whatever you're adding back into your shot. Find out more at borisfx.com.